How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good, thank you. A
Well,
bit
nice
cold.
to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. It's a bit cold here in Melbourne, but
Really? I was going to say, how's it going down under there?
yeah, not good. I mean, not too bad,
Really
except
nice.
for the weather. Yeah, I must say congratulations with the album. When
Oh,
Angels out in what 2 more days?
yes. Well, yeah, 2 more days. Yeah.
Yeah, well, two days here, 3 days there. We're in the future.
Yeah.
We're in the future over here.
Right. You guys are in the future. Hey, you're talking to me from the future, so I could ask you all kinds of questions.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
could be like, what's going to happen to Bitcoin tomorrow?
No, I keep away from all that.
That's funny.
Yeah. But no, it's a great album. I had to listen to the whole thing, and amazing, really cool sounding songs, and just the concept of it. Yeah, it's great.
Great. Did you get a chance? And I hate to ask because it's like a very long album, but did you get a chance to listen to the whole thing?
Yeah, yep, for sure. Yeah, I got it.
Wow.
It was 2 days ago. They sent it over to have a listen to, and yeah, I listened to the whole thing. Um,
Wow. That's
yeah,
a
I
lot.
hope.
It's a lot more than one listen. I'm telling people, maybe listen to half of it, one day and then half of it another, because it's a lot of stuff to digest in one kind of sitting. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of musical information.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I try and listen to an album at least 2 or 3 times, but unfortunately, I got the chance once to get through it. So you always pick different things out. Yeah, the second or third time you have a listen.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those albums too, where if you listen to it like 5 or 6 times, you'll still hear things that you didn't catch the first few times, because there are a lot of Easter eggs in this record. And
Oh
when I
yeah,
say Easter eggs, I mean a lot of references to previous records. Like if anybody's a Fifth Angel fan, I think they're going to love it, because there's a lot of references that go back to other songs and other song titles and even lyrics and themes. And so if you want to know more about what happened, you can actually go reference the songs off the earlier records, and it'll give you more information. So
ah,
it's kind of cool. It was like, I don't think anybody's done that before. I think we were the
ah.
first to. I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know if anybody, if somebody has done it, I don't know about it. So that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but I'm not aware of anybody else doing that.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of it. So that it's like the backstories and the older songs.
Well, yeah, well, that's how we got the idea for this record. We noticed that over the last three albums, there's a lot of similar themes and a lot of content that actually could be woven together into a story. We were talking about maybe doing that when we put out the Third Secret, but we just didn't have the time, to finish it off, and we didn't really have, enough songs really for a double album. So, we waited until now, but that was something we had even discussed, as far back as Third Secret.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. So whose idea was it to do this album with the concept?
Well, again, we had been talking about it on the Third Secret, and then when it came to actually putting that into practice, I'd say I was probably, maybe the guy carrying the flag up the mountain, so
Yeah.
to speak. And I did a synopsis of what I thought the story should be based on the previous albums, and I sent it to the guys, and it's kind of a funny story because I sent it to Ed Archer, and I sent it to Steve Carlson, and I sent it to John Macco, and just to kind of get some feedback. And John called me up and he goes, "Well, yeah, do you have any other ideas?" He thought it was too complicated of a story to actually be able to to be able to communicate it well. But I think we did actually communicate it well. I think the listener, people can listen, they understand what's going on. It's a little more like a movie,
Hmm.
but I think you can definitely get the gist of it, and you can definitely understand what's happening. That's what he was worried about. He felt like it was really a rather complex story, but I think there's some really as far as art, I think we're very happy with what was created.
Hmm.
Feel like we accomplished something. I mean, it was 2 years in the making, and we feel like it's a cool story, and hopefully it resonates with people.
Oh, that's great. Like I said, probably my first listen. I must admit, I probably listened to more of the music. because
Sure.
that's what I do.
Sure.
Yeah, but I did read up about the lyrics and everything, so what was going on and the story behind it. So, no, it sounds great, and I love the concept albums. Like, I know you guys earlier on got influenced by the Queensryche as well for the,
Sure.
and I
Well,
love
we're both from Seattle, and I remember, I mean, we were certainly influenced by other bands too. What we tried to do is kind of go and listen to some of the greatest concept albums that have been written. Things like The Wall, and obviously Operation Mindcrime, and
the,
Keeper of the Seven Keys. Things where like a story is being told, and find some really strong ones. And I just remember when I listened to Operation Mindcrime the first time. I think I was on a tour bus in Europe with House of Lords, and I was listening to that on the tour bus, and I was like, man, this is just, brilliant stuff.
yeah,
And they're a band from Seattle. They're from Seattle, Washington. Fifth Angel. We all grew up in Seattle, Washington. So yeah, it was nice to see our hometown boys, do something spectacular. So yeah, this is kind of our version of, what we wanted to obviously put out. And
yeah,
but yeah, I would say, in terms of, the records that have laid the groundwork for this type of record, certainly, The Wall, Operation Mindcrime, our albums like that certainly sort of laid the foundation for these types of records.
mm. His voice is still amazing. It just continues to get better
Yeah,
and better.
he's no doubt one of the greatest metal singers of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
And
it does so easy.
I've known him since he was very young too.
I really, yeah,
Well, he's older than me, but yeah, I've known him since really early on. I knew him before he was in Queensryche. So
oh wow,
yeah, I remember when we actually. I remember before they recorded the EP, I was at Lake Sammamish in Washington State, and I ran into Chris DeGarmo, and he was telling me, yeah, we did a record, they paid their own money for it. They did like an EP, and that was their EP that got released, I think, that fall.
yeah,
And sure enough, took off. But they were risking their own money, making that happen. And they were pretty young at that point to gather the money to make that happen and record it. And
yeah.
they had obviously a tremendous amount of success, so it really paid off for them.
Yeah, I mean they've done really well and influenced a lot of bands as well. So,
Yeah.
but going back to those earlier days as well, because I know you seen a few interviews where he's talked about the way Queensryche started and did that by themselves and funded it, and then pretty much got straight into it. Like they were big in a matter of what, 2 years or something, whatever it was. And you guys, pretty much like what you self-funded your first album.
Yes, we self-funded our first album. We started recording that. I think it was 1985 or maybe 84 even. We did some demos, and we sent, I think, like 3 songs to Mike Varney. Maybe it was 4 songs. I think Wings of Destiny was one of them. Fifth Angel was one of them. I think Shout It Out might have been one of them. And he signed the band to Shrapnel Records. So that actually came out on Shrapnel before it came out on Epic Records.
Yep.
Epic Records, I think, picked us up in 1986 or 7, and just basically put new artwork on it and remastered it and put it out. So that record was recorded with Terry Date, who went on to produce, Soundgarden, Deftones, Pantera. I mean, he ended up being like a major producer, and that was his first album that he ever did, was the Fifth Angel album.
Oh wow, there you go.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, so going back to some of the songs on the album, so I must say, I wrote down some of the ones that I really loved and enjoyed. So, so the first one was probably the Descent into Darkness. I just love the way that your drumming's straight away into that little intro part and then into the song. Yeah, it's a great song.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I felt like it did a nice job of just setting up the feeling, for the rest of the record, because it's a pretty dark album. I'd say this might be, maybe perhaps the first Fifth Angel album was a pretty dark record. The second one was I'd say more of a much lighter album. And then Third Secret was probably edging more towards, a darker album. This is, I think, in my opinion, probably the darkest of all the Fifth Angel albums. I mean, it's not necessarily a happy story, but I think it's a very interesting story and kind of a compelling story, and hopefully the listeners agree and enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
So you like Descent into Darkness? That's one of I like that too. That's great. Good choice.
That's good. One pass. Now you've got the ones you got the YouTube clips for. So you got Resist the Tyrant and also When Angels Kill. Now they'll both shot at the same place, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah. And we have a new video coming out on Friday that will not be. It's like that. Those videos are obviously using a virtual reality set, and which we were pretty excited about because doing those types of videos used to cost, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now with some of the new technology, you can do them and obviously do them at a very much more inexpensively. So we were excited to do those videos, but our new one is just like a regular, more like a standard video, I guess is what I would say. More of a performance video, and there's some other little things in there that are interesting, but it's mostly performance.
Yeah, those clips though, they look great. I mean, you'd never know. Yeah, it looked like you're really in this dark evil place. It's amazing.
Absolutely. No, I mean, that's the funny thing. Like one of my friends goes, well, did anything get burned? Like, did you guys like? And I was like, no, those aren't really, the flames weren't actually there.
Yeah, yeah, they look great. Oh, We Are Immortal. I just love the great riffs and the intro again to this. I found a lot of the intros of the songs, like you were saying, really gives it that segue into the song, and it builds it up to what it's going to be, like straight into it. It wasn't like any mucking around; it was just bang.
Well, we didn't have a lot of time to really monkey around too much because we had a big story to tell, and we had a lot of interludes, and there's just so much stuff going on that the songs I feel like are actually I wouldn't say, well, they're a little more progressive maybe than Third Secret. So I think that there is a progressive element to it. So maybe a little more complicated, but I think the thing that I like about it is we kind of retained, one of the trademarks of Fifth Angel, which I think is the big chorus, the big chorus that you sing along with. And we just played the Kit Festival in Germany, and we played two new songs. We played When Angels Kill, and we played We Are Immortal. And the singer, no one had ever even heard We Are Immortal, and the singer taught the audience the chorus before the song, and so they sang that whole song, which was really incredible. And that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to give people something that they can really sink their teeth into and sing.
Yeah. So have you actually played the full album yet live?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
No, I'm not sure if that'll happen. I mean, that would be quite a task to undergo. And I guess one of the challenges that we have, and I have talked with a lot of interviewers, and a lot of people surprise me. They say like, this is my favorite Fifth Angel album. And I'm like, that's to me is astounding, because usually when you hear a band, like whether it's Rush or Iron Maiden or whatever, and you're young and you have that first album or second album that you were introduced to the band, it's the nostalgia is very powerful for that music, and so it's very hard for people to recognize new music and feel as powerful about that as they do about the songs that hit them when they were young. So I'm very so far I've been very surprised and very happy, that people have been able to hear it and go like, wow, this is my favorite Fifth Angel album. I'm like, wow, because those first two, it's hard to top something that people loved when they were young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah. But yeah, I was going to say, like with these songs, if you had to play the whole album live, it'd be a great workout for you. Some of those tracks.
It would be quite the workout for me. There's no question about it.
I think, what was the song? Is it was it Run to the Black? We got that big double bass.
Well, there's Black. There's if you're talking about the faster ones, there's like 7, Seven Angels is another pretty ripping song.
Yeah.
Empire of Hate. So I guess that's more a little more of a mid-tempo kind of thing. But there's a lot of, When Angels Kill. There are a lot of aggressive, fast songs. Blinded and Bleeding is another really fast song in terms of double bass stuff. So yeah, I think there's quite a workout that's going to go on there if that happens.
Yeah, exactly. I look forward to seeing it all live one day.
Oh, awesome! That would be great.
Yeah. And now you're the guitarist, the lead guitarist, Jim Dofka. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
He's a great player. He's amazing. Just
Oh,
his
he's fantastic.
techniques.
Actually, he stepped in. We had a lot of interesting things go on with this, and I call it the way I've described it is Halloween had Pumpkins United. They had like four guitar players and three singers, and this whole thing.
Right.
And we kind of had a little bit to get this record done. We had a lot of weird things that went on during the recording. We had COVID going on. We had one guy his hand was injured, couldn't play. We had some aging parents that had to be taken care of. So we had uh, we had some people step in and do some things, and I think it actually made for kind of a cool album. But we had like a small army of guitarists that worked on this record. We had Ed Archer, Jim Dovka, we had Steve Conley, Ethan Brosh co-wrote some songs. I had my friend Brent Barker actually worked on the videos with us, and because Jim couldn't make it, and Brent's a fabulous guitar player too, and he learned all this stuff note for note. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's like we have like this little family of incredible musicians, that we worked with to make this thing happen and to make it happen on time. And I call it Angels United.
Yeah. So is Jim part of the band now?
Jim, well, we don't know. I think, Ethan has played all of our live shows, and we're happy with Ethan doing that. So, I think we probably will continue doing that. So,
Okay.
Ethan's been playing with us now for 5 years. He wasn't scheduling wise, he wasn't able to work on the record and everything. So we had some, again, we had some kind of weird situations to deal with, but I think in the end, it actually worked out kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think it made for in my opinion, I think it made for a very, I don't know, maybe more diverse product is maybe the way to describe the album. Like, I think we have like a wider range of music going on this record than maybe any of the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, can I just quickly talk about your time back in House of Lords, because I know you had playing with Greg Trafia. Now, I was a huge Angel fan growing up. My
Oh,
brother and I used to jam on. We actually recorded White Lightning back in
wow.
1990. We did a little studio session in LA, and can't remember the name of the studio, but yeah, we did like our version of White Lightning. So it was, yeah, I love the band. It was cool. So how was it playing with Greg back in the day?
Oh, it was awesome. I actually had when I was a kid, I had an Angel poster on my wall, and Kiss and Aerosmith and, all these bands. Kiss was the first concert I ever saw, but, Angel was on Casablanca, and yeah, they had some really cool songs. The Tower, we actually used to play a little clip of
Yeah,
that
love that song.
in House of Lords. So, yeah, I think playing with Greg was great. House of Lords, in my opinion, was, I mean, certainly a ferocious live band. Like back in the day, you can pull up videos of the band playing live, and it sounded like the stinking record. The singer was amazing. The
Mm.
band was really solid, and in my opinion, kind of amazing. Great players. It's just it's unfortunate that the whole grunge thing kind of wiped all of everybody off the map, which was kind of weird. I mean, the whole grunge thing, it didn't last very long. It lasted like 2 years, and the people I think that were fans of grunge certainly were not capable of apparently listening to any other type of music. So
Yeah,
it was an unfortunate and weird time in music history, but it is what it is.
yeah, that's right. So is Punky Meadows, is he still around?
He is actually. I think I saw some footage of Angel playing currently.
Oh,
Like they're on, they're kind of on tour, and I think Greg sat in with them one time,
oh well. Oh,
and I think Vegas because Greg lives in Las Vegas, which is about 5 hours, 5 hour drive away from me,
okay.
and uh, and I did see some footage of Greg actually playing
Mm,
with them. So
yep. Oh, excellent. Now, I got one last question. Now, because I know you've played with everyone from Alice Cooper, House of Lords, and was it Accept you toured with as well?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm a huge Van Halen fan. Do you have any Van Halen stories, like either playing with them or meeting them or anything?
Van Halen, I never had. They were one of the first concerts I saw when I was a kid. It was like 1981, Seattle Center Coliseum, and I remember seeing them play, and it was the worst sound I've ever heard at a concert. Like it would take halfway through the song before you would know what song they were playing.
Oh, wow.
But I've never seen an audience go that nuts. I mean, the audience was just going nuts the whole time, just absolutely insane. But yeah, Van Halen was certainly an incredible band, and I think that Van Halen one album is, I think, in my opinion,
Mm,
I think maybe the greatest rock record ever made. I mean, there's not one bad song on that thing. Eddie Van Halen flipped the guitar playing world on its head.
yeah.
Everybody for the next, until grunge hit for the next 14 years from 1978 to 1992, every guitarist, I mean, whether it's George Lynch, whether it's Reb Beach, whether it's Doug Aldridge, like whether it's Steve Vai, everybody was influenced by Eddie. So, I mean, yeah, what can I say? I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't have any personal stories other than seeing them very early on,
Yeah.
and just watching Eddie Van Halen play. Going, I don't think it's physically possible for anybody to play faster than he was playing at that time. Of course, later on, then I played on a bunch of records with Chris and Pelletieri, and apparently people can go faster, but
Yeah.
but uh, but Eddie Van Halen, what an incredible. I think, in my opinion, hands down, greatest guitar player of all time. I mean, I know people say Hendrix, whatever,
Mm,
but seriously, I go like, okay, well, give me a Hendrix solo, that I'm gonna just freak out over. I mean, Hendrix songs, yeah, all along the Watchtower, and beautiful art. He created beautiful art,
yeah.
but as a just from a sheer technical guitar playing level, and moving the ball forward and influencing everybody, every guitar player for like a 14-year period. I mean, I don't think any can be topped.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you think because Eddie was so good and so well known, it took away a little bit from Alex? Because as far as I'm concerned, I find Alex extraordinary drum player. And like I said, my brother was a
I
drummer.
agree.
We grew up playing Van Halen songs, and he was always like, "Wow, how's he doing this?"
Well, I totally agree with you. He did some iconic drum work. Hot for Teacher. Like there's a ton of those songs where there's incredible drum parts going on. I agree. I think he was definitely overshadowed by Eddie.
Yep.
But let's put it this way. I mean, Van Halen in their day was the biggest rock band in the world. So
Hmm.
I'm not sure if anybody really overshadowed anybody, but I don't think I don't think he was recognized as much as perhaps he should have been. He definitely was an incredible player in his own right.
Yeah,
I
for
agree
sure.
with
Yeah, oh, that's good. Good to hear. I just want to say congratulations again for a fantastic album. Hopefully, we see you guys down here one day in Australia. And
you. That would be wonderful. I want to thank you so much as well. It's Adam, right?
yep, you got it.
Thank you so much. Great meeting you and great talking to you. And you have a, I guess is it morning there?
Yeah, I'm about to go to school. I'm a school teacher, teach music. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks, Ken.
See you, Adam.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.